We're back in the mix today. Another live stream. I think I'm going to do these Monday to Friday is when I'm feeling like doing these streams. That's when I'm feeling most like I actually want to do it. Because I think, to be honest, if I was doing it every single day, I would have no life, to be honest. But I think Monday to Friday is a good cadence. I think I can keep that up. I think I can keep that up at this time. It's about 9 a.m. in the US. It's about, I don't know, like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. in the UK. And it's 9 p.m. here in Bartley. And I'm happy to sacrifice my Friday nights for you guys. I'm happy to do that. If you hold up your end of the bargain, I'll hold up mine. Sound fair? If you rock up to these calls, I'll rock up to these calls. 9 p.m. my time, probably about 2 p.m. your time. Maybe it's 9 a.m. your time if you're in the States. But yeah, that's how we're going to start things off today. But today, I want to actually touch on something that I spoke about yesterday. And I really want to make that the focus today. And you might be able to see at the bottom of the stream here, I've titled this, Your Most Valuable Asset. And it's based off a tweet that I put out yesterday, which by recent standards has been very, I wouldn't say viral, but high performing. A high performing idea. It wasn't a platitude. It's a genuine idea that I believe in and that clearly you guys believe in too. And it's very straightforward. I wrote, time isn't your most valuable asset. Your most valuable asset is your energy. Nothing comes close. So you see why the space or the stream is called your most valuable asset. You see now. So here's the thing. Everyone's obsessed with time management, but they're managing the wrong thing. Time isn't your most valuable asset, guys. Your energy is, and I mean it, like nothing else matters. Like if someone said, I can give you 1 million years on this planet. Okay, that could be pretty cool. But what would change? You'd just be living forever. Like you'd just be hoping. Eventually, you'd just be like, all right, I'm ready for death now. But if someone said, I will give you so much energy that you basically turn into a superhuman, well, you become a superhero. Basically, you can move mountains. You can you don't operate like other humans. You become superhuman. You would take that. I would take that. 100% I would take that. I would take the energy over 1 million years, personally. Like, give me like superhuman energy or give me eternal life. I want the energy because the energy has a direct impact on your experience. So, for example, I spoke about this the other day. When you're ill, when you're not well, you have no energy. You're just exhausted. And sometimes it's kind of nice to be exhausted. You know that feeling? But I would say there's a difference between being exhausted because of, let's say you're working out a lot or your circadian rhythm is in check and you're exercising hard. Like there's energy balance and then there's being out of energy. Like energy balance is almost like your energy is so well managed that you've got the yin and the yang. You've got nighttime energy is slow, calm energy, and then you've got morning energy, which is like go, go, go. This is basically your circadian rhythm. So that's a whole nother topic, circadian rhythm, which I'm not going to get into today, but I did go and watch the sunset, and I have got my blue light blocking glasses on tonight. I'm going to start taking this a lot more seriously because energy is number one. So, yeah, I can give you all the time in the world, but if your energy is fucked, you'll waste all the time. So a question for you, drop the word energy if you've ever had a full day but felt completely drained. Drop energy if you've ever had a full day but felt completely drained. Personally, every day for me is full. I'm fucking busy. I've tried to take some stuff off my calendar is clear, but I still have things to do, right? Go to the gym, write my email. I'll actually bring up my email today, an email I sent. I sent an email out to my list, and it actually got, I mean, people read it, and people came back to me, and they said, I'll give you the gist. I'll give you the gist of the email. So I basically said how there's a creator called Dan Koe, and he's inspired me a lot. I think he's inspired a lot of people, especially on Twitter. So shout out Dan Koe. I'm going to shamelessly plug you here. You're welcome. So I said today marked the end of an era, a damn short era. It came after reading Dan Koe's email. The gist of the email was that being a 1% creator is about enjoyment and having a unique perspective. This is what he said. He said, becoming a better creator is as simple as having a meaningful goal and sharing ideas that excite you. Excitement versus content creation. And I basically cut off the quote there because I was like, that's a really good passage. That's fucking good. And I said, I don't know what happened, but at that point, I just felt like I needed to reply to him. And I don't usually reply to people's newsletters. It's rare. But when I was writing my response, something hit me like a fucking ton of bricks. And I said, I really enjoyed this one, Dan. I said, I love the deep, and then I sent him a message. I basically said what I enjoyed about it. And I said, I love the deep dive style. You've inspired me a lot with your work. I've been playing with the deep dive format myself, but as much as I like going deep, daily punchy stories always feels like the least friction for me. Maybe I'll leave the depth to you. And then I stopped typing and I realized something. I was like, damn, did I just talk myself out of something I was forcing myself to do? Because what I realized was after trying the deep dives for a few weeks, I actually don't get the most joy out of them. And we're talking about my emails and my newsletters here, guys, and how this translates to you and what you're doing and how it translates to energy. So I said, and welcome if you're just joining us. Welcome, welcome. I'm in the flow. I'm talking about something I care about. So I'm in the flow right now and I'm feeling good. So yeah, I was trying these deep dives for weeks, and honestly, it was just too much writing. Like for me, I love getting into a deep flow state. I love that feeling. But wow, I mean, that's not all I have to do in the day. You know, it's not like I'm producing info product after info product and it's just writing all day. Like I'm client facing, you know, I have clients I need to fulfill for. I have other parts of my work that I need to do. And so for me, like I can't just be in a never ending writing, you know, frenzy nonstop. So for me, it was just too much writing. And I just, working on something that just keeps needing work, like I'm too much of a perfectionist, it ends up just becoming a pain for me. In the end, it just becomes from the Jintong Nation, shout out Poe. Hey Lee, nice to see you. Anyway, I was saying, it was just too much writing. But the difference between doing those deep dives and doing like a daily email is I can bang out those daily emails in 15 minutes and get on with my day. And as much as like I said, I enjoy the deep flow state of deep writing, big pieces like I used to do in the past. Honestly, I just felt too much friction, like a project that needed completing every week. And rather than actual fun, valuable message to share. So that's what excites me, is like quickly coming up with an important message and getting it out there. And this is exactly how Dan Koe preaches things. He was saying, you know, it's about excitement first creation, as he preaches. And for me, it's like, all right, I want to get it out there. I want to get my idea out there as quickly as possible. in a way that obviously people resonate with. And for me, I think that's just doing the daily emails instead of the weekly is just what I've landed on. But that's just it. At the end of the day, just because something works for others doesn't mean it works for you. Energy beats strategy every single time. So the deep dive format doesn't serve my current business goals, and it doesn't feed my soul. I thought it would. I've in the past it has, but this time it didn't. It only took me a few weeks to realize it was like, yeah, I feel stressed out on a Friday. I'm like sending the email, sending the big piece, because I'm like, oh God, it's 2,000 words, and every time I proofread it, it's so long. And although I know it could really like make a big impact in people's lives, it's almost like, am I actually serving people the right way, or am I just kind of like mentally masturbating here? Anyway, I realized that this format, the daily interactions, that actually has a lot more impact from what I have gathered. The daily communication, the daily stories, the punchy, consistent, direct. Like that's more what I'm about. So yes, my whole I'm moving to Substack era was very short-lived, but I just thought I'd come out and say it, because there's no point me fucking bullshitting you guys and being like, oh, I'm sending from 2 email softwares, and like I'm doing the weekly newsletter, but like I haven't sent it this week, and I'm actually doing these dailies and they feel like, let's just cut to the chase. We've been here before. You know, I'm very transparent. Like that's probably one of the main pillars. I wouldn't say it's like a content pillar, but it's probably one of the main pillars of what I am, is very transparent. You know, what you see is what you get. That's basically it. Like I'm not trying to guru you guys. It's very straightforward. You know, oh yeah, Substack isn't working for me, but I did announce that I was moving over here. I'm not going to pretend that like I'm still there because I want to save face. Like I'll tell you guys. Like at the beginning of the year when my business started, I went through a bit of a crisis and my business struggled. I told everyone. Now, if I did that again, I would definitely frame it differently, because I realized that actually that was what I would call poor framing of the situation. You know, I basically, I was transparent about the situation, but I could have framed it better. You know, so, but I would never change the fact that I was honest. It's just in the future I would change the framing. Here I'm just saying it's a very clear frame. It's a very clear framing. I moved over to Substack. I realized that it wasn't giving me energy, and so what I had to do is I had to start I basically came back to ConvertKit and sent a few emails out just to get things moving. And I realized I was like, I really fucking enjoy this, and I really feel motivated to write this. Like it just kind of comes out. It just kind of comes out. So yeah, this honestly feels like a relief to me. And when you have that feeling of relief, like I feel like I missed a spot shaving. Maybe. I feel like but when you have that feeling of relief of something, that is usually a good indicator that you've been putting off something you should have done. And that also is something that's something you should have done, is the thing that is holding you back from reaching the next level of energy. Let's be honest, that's what we're talking about, right? So here's my question for you. What are you forcing yourself to do because you think you should do it? And what would you do if you followed energy instead of logic? Oh, this makes more money, but this will make me happier. This is a good job, but I don't want to be a slave. You know, it's clear that acting out of logic isn't always the right thing to do. Sometimes following the emotional move is actually stronger. That doesn't mean you should be an emotional wreck. It just means if you're being pulled in a direction, because that's what your energy, your curiosity, your emotional state is, then like go there. That's the difference between an artist and really a pure entrepreneur. Is the artist, mosquito bastard. The artist will happily stay broke to remain authentic to what they really want. and they don't give a fuck. Whereas the entrepreneur, like the pure entrepreneur, will basically look for the opportunities everywhere. Like what makes money, what makes money, what makes money. And like, I think the way you want to be is a hybrid of both. I found a great YouTube account earlier. What was his name? I subscribed to him because I was like, this is different. Just not totally radical, but different, you know? By the way, I want to see who's watching YouTube. Who's watching? One person watching now. Shout out to whoever's watching this on YouTube. Shout out. I was just trying to find the new account. His name's Landon Parrott. He's got like 26K views, but like this guy he's an artist. He's an artist. And yeah, he's just kind of cool. He's almost like a unsuccessful Danko. I don't want to call him unsuccessful because in many ways, like he's very successful the way I'm looking at him. He doesn't just upload like, you know, he uploads when he feels inspired, I can tell. And his last upload was called Offline is the New Luxury. And then he basically talks about how important like authenticity is, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I vibe with this guy. This guy's cool. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you've got to maintain that artist mentality. What's up, Ben Patrick? Welcome. Who is it that's listening on YouTube? So, man, I've got a business and I have been working on it for 8 months, but nothing is really working. I have the goal of making 500 grand before the end of this year. What do you think I need to do? So my first question is, you know, what market are you in? You know, because I've never made 500 grand in 1 year, ever. And so I can't really give you the advice for that. But I have been able to make over 300 grand in 1 year. So we just found a hot market and we made them an offer during a time when the market was really growing. So you say you've got it's education business scaling marketing. So what niche are you in? Just curious. Like, do you have a niche, or is it just like I need a tiny bit more information, and then I might be able to give you a solid answer based off what's worked for me, especially in the past. But now, you know, these same principles always apply. And by the way, if you're listening on Instagram, I've got the stream up on YouTube, and I've got the stream up on Twitter, and I've got the stream up on LinkedIn. So when you hear me reading stuff off the screen, it's because we've got all different platforms going at the same time. So yeah, if you've got questions or you've got anything, any comments, drop it in below. Basically, what we've done, we've met here at the intersection between what I'm really passionate about, which is energy and following your passion and following your art, but then combining it with the business. That's really like, because that's what I do. I help artists who don't want to do a job they hate make money. I help people get paid for me themselves. That's what I do. That's what I do. So I'm going to call you Shah. I'm going to call you Shah. Hey, Harrison, it's just turned up. My boy. Or is that Harrison or is it Hudson? Might be Hudson. One of the Rock and Seuses. Yeah, so Shah, this is what I would say to you. So you want to make 500 grand by the end of the year. Honestly, like, it's going to be difficult to do that, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. So like, you're in the education business. How many sales calls can you get booked a day? Like, how many sales calls can you get booked a day? That's the real question. Because I like to sell without sales calls. I like to scale things without having to hop on calls with people. However, my honest answer for you is, how many sales calls can you get booked between now and the end of the year? Because if you're selling a product for $1,000 or a service for $1,000, you need 500 sales calls. If you're selling a service for $5,000, that means you need 100 sales calls. Is that correct? So 5,000 times 100 is 500,000. Yeah. So it's just a numbers game. You just got to break it down, like go for the goal and work backwards. So you need to sell $500,000 worth of stuff. How many sales calls do you need to get on? I help people selling education scale their biz. I've uploaded a few videos on this channel too. Sick. So, bro, how many people can you get on a sales call? And like, this is something I've realized lately is I've had to embrace the sales call life again, because I realized if you want to sell something above $1,000, you might above $2,000, you're gonna have to get on a sales call unless you are like very, very trusted. Contractor Keith, my guy, how many can you close? That's the real question. You have to have so many no's answers to get the yeses. I love seeing Keith on this stream. Like, this has made me very, very happy. And yeah, what a legend. A legend is amongst us, guys. Like, I'm very happy to see you, Keith. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna give myself away too much, as in I don't want to get all soppy, but yeah, he keeps bang on there. So how many can you close? That's the real question. I mean, and then there's another question here, right? The other question is this: what is the lead quality like? Much love to you, man. It's good to see you back. What is the lead quality like? Like, if you're, I had a problem about, how many years ago was it now? 2 years ago, and what I did is I hired a young, hungry appointment setter to find me people to jump on sales calls with. He just went out there and he just went nuts. He just went completely nuts, and he pulled in like, he got me like 20 calls in like no time. So we had like, we were hopping on about 20 calls a week, which was great. Like, I was like, all right, we're going to start making some money. Like, this is good. This is good. This is what we want. And this is really like the beating heart of a business that wants to scale, is how many sales calls can you get? Like, if you want to scale fast. And this is what I realized. And the problem I had was I was getting on calls with people, and they just weren't the right fit. Like, they were just in the wrong niches. They were just in the wrong markets. And it was such an eye-opener for me, because I realized that there's so many people out there that need help. They're willing to get on a call with a guy they've never met, who doesn't even operate in their niche. And that was a mind-blowing moment. It was like, wow, there's so many people that need help and want to get on calls with people that can help. And maybe, maybe they have the means, maybe they don't. But when I realized that, I was like, it really is a sales calls game. And then I sort of took matters into my own hands and started actually qualifying these leads and being a bit more brutal. And then in the end, I sort of found my niche, after a long time of experimenting and getting on calls and doing like over 100 calls with people. And I was literally trying to close people that I couldn't help. That was actually one of the funniest things about it, was I was actually just so hungry to scale that I was getting on calls with people and trying to close everyone. And some of these people, I was like, oh yeah, you're in SaaS. Yeah, I can help. Like, I'm talking like they're building a SaaS product from scratch. They have nothing else. Like, they're just trying to make a SaaS work. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll help you with that. It was just poor lead management, I guess. And then I learned a lot of valuable lessons from that. So yeah, that was like a long-winded way of saying, I think that if you need to know exactly, you need to know who you're targeting. So like, who are you targeting? So this is back to you, Shah. Who are you targeting? How can you get them on, like, how are you going to get them on calls? Like, are you going to use appointment setters? Are you going to use ads, like a book a call funnel? Are you going to, I mean, those are pretty much two of your only options. Are you going to use lead magnets? Maybe a combination of all three would be the most powerful. You know, you've got a book a call funnel, you've got a lead magnet that leads to a book a call funnel, and then they book calls. Or you've got a appointment setter who's just out like doing DMs, doing outreach for you to the right people, and getting your ass on as many sales calls as possible. I don't know how much you charge, but most likely, I assume if you're helping people scale their business and it's a service, probably more than 2K. So let's just say 3K. So you need, about, what's that? Anyone good with maths? If he's charging $3,000 and he wants to make 500 grand, he needs, I'm not a mathematician, unfortunately. I'll work it out. Here we go. I was going to say, put in the chat if you're feeling clever, if you're good with maths. So 500,000. Are you going to beat me or not? I'm using a calculator here. 500 grand divided by 3,000 equals, you need to close 166 sales calls. You need to close that many people. And you can do that if you just, it depends what you want though. You know, depends what kind of business you want to run. And then you got to think about, like, you might make 500 grand, but how much of that do you keep? Because I've done the agency scale. I tried that and I realized I'm not that way inclined. I'm not an entrepreneurial. I'm not that far on the entrepreneur scale where I'm like, I don't care how I make the money. I just want the money, like pure hustler. I'm like actually closer down to this end, which is more like the artist end, where I'm like, I'd rather spend a few years figuring out exactly what I want to do and make money in the way that feels good. Because to me, like, I know that, and it goes back to the topic we were speaking about at the beginning of the stream, like, I want my energy to be high. Like, why would I be that like rich guy that feels terrible all the time? Like, that for me is, I'm making my life worse. Like, I can get pretty much everything I want right now. Pretty much. Like, if I want to go and date a hot girl, I can just go out to Uluwatu this evening on Friday night. I can go down to Mana. I can go with my friends and I can basically start hanging out. I can dress well, I can put some aftershave on. I can tell them a little bit about what I do. And, you know, I could get a hot girlfriend like that. Like, it's not really, like, that isn't really the concern. You know, there's other things as well. Like, I live in a villa in Bali. I enjoy what I do. You know, I'm fortunate. I'm very, very fortunate. But for me, it's like, I would rather do the thing that makes me feel great every day. Like, that's more important to me. We've got Keith here in the stream. Bingo. Now you understand what I am at. Not going to do it just because I can do it. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not that hard. I personally, I don't think it's very difficult for people to scale an agency, because all you have to do is you have to go and learn. Once you get an offer that people want, which is like, I don't know, like, honestly, guys, this is a fucked up, like, I'm not advising anyone to go do this, but like, the fastest business I ever got off the ground was an experiment a year and a half ago. I started running some lead generation services, and everyone wanted that. Get me more leads, get me more leads, get me more leads. And I went nice and low on the price, and I hired my appointment setter team. I hired a little team, and we were basically up and running within a few weeks. I had a team built. I had 2 appointment setters. I had a manager, like a guy managing the thing, and then I had a VA. So it was a 5-man. We built a 5-man team in like a couple of weeks, and we scaled to 6K a month pretty fast, right? But I realized, I was like, this is not difficult. It's actually like not just boring, like it's mind numbing. Like this actually numbs my mind. There's no creativity here. And, you know, you can say all day long, like, oh, well, I was creating content and I was attracting people in. But really, like, because the offer was just so in demand, because everyone needs leads, it was just people were so desperate for leads that we would just come in and we would just do the work for them with hungry salespeople. And we started flowing cash very fast, but I couldn't keep that going. I had to close it down because I was like, I hate this. This feels rubbish. And I was like learning about cold email and all this stuff. And I was like, this doesn't excite me. Like, sure, like, and by the way, guys, if you just need to make money next week, like I don't know what the current state of the market is, but go and set up a lead generation agency. Like, and just be the hungriest, like just go full nutter mode and just be like, we'll get you this many leads, and just go and get some DM scripts and just go and set appointments with people. But that aside, I'm just saying I couldn't do that, and it was scaling fast, you know? So it's not all about the money. It's how you make the money. How you make the money is far more important. And one thing I've learned as well, like at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to status. Like we're all vying for status in any shape or form. So even the altruistic, magnanimous person, you know, at the end of the day, the reason why they have decided to take that route, to be more altruistic, to help their fellow man, to maybe do some philanthropy, whatever, is because they know that actually benefits them. Like that increases their street cred, that increases their public perception, their brand, right? So even the people that are just doing good, like good in the world, are doing it for a status benefit. Even if at the end of the day, it's what happens when they look in the mirror at night before they go to bed. They have status with themselves. But that's another point. I want to stay on the central argument here. One thing I've noticed about the people who generally give off they hold a high status frame, someone that believes that they are a person of status and everyone else treats them that way because the world treats you how you feel you deserve to be treated, really, I find in the end. It's the people who are contributing something to the world and are loving what they do. So an artist contributes something. Not everyone has to like your art. In fact, art by kind of nature is polarizing. Some people are like, I wouldn't pay $5 million for that. And then there's another guy that's like, I'll pay $20 million for that. So at the end of the day, art is more valuable than you're allowing yourself to admit. Look at any rappers. Look at rappers. I love rap at the moment. I'm bang on rap. By the way, music I'm listening to right now, Suicide Boys just dropped a new album. It's called Thy Kingdom. I'm also listening to a lot of Lil Peep. And who else? Those guys. And then Tame Impala just dropped a new track. So get on that. But yeah, at the end of the day, you want to do stuff that actually lights you up, makes you feel good, makes you, you know, I think a low status move is to chase money for money's sake. I know a lot of people who make a lot of money, but their energy is so low because they're just doing a horrible job at scale. So they're just doing a job no one else wants to do, which I respect, but they just scale that. And it's like, yeah, respect. But at the end of the day, like, you hate what you do still. Like just because you're making more money doesn't mean you like what you're doing more. And I know that you're going to like it more than the person who's, you know, maybe you've got a cleaning business. You're probably going to like it more if you're the boss than if you're the cleaner. But really at its core is you're still that, it's an extension of you. So you're just a cleaner that got good at scaling a business. So when you're getting paid for your art, for expressing yourself, however that is. You might be a great speaker, you might be a great writer, you might be a great painter, you might be a great fiction writer, you might be a great comedian, you might be a great actor. These people actually contribute more to the world, I think, than in terms of their impact than a lot of these people who are just making a lot of money. So scaling that is going to give you a lot of energy. If you're like me, I've realized I'm more on this end of the spectrum. Like, there's entrepreneur, yeah, we can make money, but there's also this side which, like, I kind of like making the money my way, in a way that feels good for me. I'm not just chasing money, I'm doing it because it makes me feel good. But anyway, productivity gurus sell you time hacks. They tell you to wake up at 4 a.m. Time blocking, calendar optimization. I do a lot of this myself, but they're really just guidelines, because what's happening is they're really missing the point. Because you can have 16 hours a day and accomplish nothing if your energy is just trashed. If your energy is trashed, you're going to accomplish nothing. Or you can have 4 hours a day and your energy is super high and you can change your life within a matter of hours. So it's like, how much impact do you have in the time when you work? And I feel like that, yeah, is down to a few things. But I think the most important thing is how much energy you're bringing to the table. So I think the enemy of energy is burnout. Let's be honest. I think the enemy of energy is burnout. And there's a few ways. How have I overcome this? I was very burnt out at the beginning of the year. I had no energy. And I realized that, like, time, that we're comparing. So I put this tweet out. I was like, your most valuable asset isn't time, it's actually energy. Because time is infinite. Like, it will be here when you're gone. But energy is a lot more finite. I mean, what is everyone fighting for really in the world? They're kind of fighting for more energy. Hear me out. So money is a form of energy. Oil, gas, natural resources are forms of energy. Then when you gain more control over those resources, you've now got more control over the energy. Then what that also does is, when you're in control, you feel powerful. Why do you feel powerful? Because the energy that you are cultivating within yourself, and also like around you, and how much like energy you're responsible for managing, is just unlimited. So really, it's like we're vying for power, and power is energy, and energy comes in all those different forms, So there is a real difference between these two. Like time, for example, everyone gets 24 hours in a day. You can't create more time. Time doesn't discriminate either. But energy, on the other hand, energy varies dramatically person to person. You can 10x your energy through the right practices and through the right lifestyle. Also, high energy people, I've noticed this, they accomplish more in 2 hours than low energy people do in 12. Just look at like the way the CEO runs the company compared to, like, I don't know. Janitor is not a good example, because the janitor is probably enjoying their work more than the people in admin. If you look at the person in admin who turns up late, who doesn't really want to be there, how much can they get done in 12 hours versus what the CEO, high energy CEO, can do in 2? It's just night and day. So really, energy is renewable. Time isn't. Time isn't renewable. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at low energy and high energy, like if I was writing something, for example, like I was writing an email, you would probably respond less and be less excited and less bothered by an email that I wrote in a low energetic state. You'll be able to feel it. You're like, this just feels crap. This isn't making me feel good. This isn't exciting me. We've got Abby's in the building, boys, by the way. Day 5 of regaining energy and 3 life-changing things happened is crazy, brother. Dude, I want to hear. If you feel comfortable sharing, hit us with the deets. Hit us with those 3 things that changed. Because I'm going to be deadpan. Like, this is my highest belief. And I said this, I went on a podcast with Nathaniel recently, and we spoke about this at length. I think if you just put your energy, what gives you energy at the top of your pyramid or top of your hierarchy of needs, like that is the number one thing that you're chasing at all times. It's the only thing you should be chasing, really, I think. Is like listening to what gives you energy. Because sometimes what gives you energy is you just want to grind. Like you just want to build. I had that last week. Sometimes, have you ever thought about this? This is a crazy one. Sometimes you don't want to sleep because you've got enough energy. Sometimes you need to sleep. You need 9 hours. You need 10 hours. That gives you the energy back. People just, like the whole society, like society's fucked. Like that you actually will say to people, you need to be here at 9 a.m. every single day. And you stay till this time. And I get it. Like we need to get things done. But have you ever thought like, well, if the person's cooked and you're getting them to operate heavy machinery because they had to be there at 9 o'clock, but if you hadn't let them sleep in, they might have turned up a little bit sharper. And they're on heavy machinery. And I don't know, let's say an accident happens. Like, I reckon sleep deprivation is responsible for more catastrophes than being late. Have you ever thought about that? How many lives might still, how many people might still be alive today? How many people might have been saved from accidents and catastrophes and motor accidents if they had have got a little bit more sleep, if they had have woken up with a bit more energy? I mean, if someone's completely sleep deprived, they're already halfway dead. Why? Because they've got no energy. To me, this is extremely obvious, like mind-numbingly obvious. Yet the whole of society, and this is where it does get a little bit like the Matrix. You're like a battery. Not you. Like most people listening to this are hopefully free from the Matrix. But before you started deciding to free yourself, or before you freed yourself, you were a battery where the system used your energy against you until you died. It drained your energy until you die. Leaving the Matrix isn't anything more than just claiming your energy back. No, I'm not going to turn up at 9 a.m. to your job so I can get a paycheck from you. I'm going to figure out how to make my own money. No, I'm not going to go to that event where everyone there is a vampire, energy vampire, because I value my peace. I value my energy. No, I'm not going to create a piece of content that makes me feel shit just to try and make money because, I want to make money. No, I'm going to do what gives me energy. This thing, actually, this expression of me actually gives me energy. Be damned what the immediate result is. So it's like no, I'm not going to continue this relationship with this person because they're making my life a misery. They're making me feel like I want to lie in bed all day and do fucking nothing and just feel shit. Like the whole game is reaching escape velocity from the matrix. And the only way that you are going to have enough power to get out of, to break the stratosphere, to break out the first atmosphere and break free to reach escape velocity, is if you have a lot of fucking fuel in the tank. Like you think like Elon's launching rockets to Mars. How much fuel do they need to use? How much energy do they need to get that rocket up there? Fuckloads. That's the same with you. You want to get out of the matrix. You want to get out there. You want to get out. I'm not calling it the matrix anymore. I'm calling it the shadow world. You want to get out the shadow world. So the shadow world, where most people are lost, they're just being drained. Like they're being drained by everything. Distractions. They're being drained by people. They're being drained by their boss. They're being drained by society at large. They're being drained by the media. All of this stuff. But once they get out of the shadow world, the only way out of the shadow world is to increase their power, is to increase their energy level. So this is actually how you get out. It's not about the perfect business model. It's not about the perfect system. It's not about the perfect content. It's not about reading the right books. All it is making one conscious decision, which is asking this one question every single day, every single minute of every hour. Is this giving me more energy or is it taking it away? That is more important than sticking to any routine. Sometimes routines give energy. I will admit that. Sometimes routines give you energy and you compound that energy over time. But for example, if you're like, I need to do this thing really, really badly. I got told by a guru that if I don't send 50 DMs this morning, then I'm going to starve to death, right? And that person basically half-assed sends these DMs out, let's say, to try and get some sales, right? And they just feel exhausted. They're just like, this is crap. You know, I'm all for people working to get some sales and some hard work. You don't believe how hard I worked the last few weeks. It's been crazy, but it was giving me energy. But that person, rather than do the thing that like drains them, DMs is a bad example because you should feel pumped to do DMs. Let's say, for example, even just something like you get invited to a family event. That's a tough one. Family event. Or your girlfriend or your wife's family event. Here we go. Now we're getting to the real shit. Your girlfriend or your wife's event. And you're like, that's going to kill me. That's going to kill me inside. I'd rather die. Right? Well, if you're not prioritizing your energy, like 99% of humans on the planet and like 99% of men, you're going to go knowing that you don't want to be there, knowing that you're going to hate every minute. Just to what? Just to keep them happy? Just to keep other people happy. And they'll know deep down. And the chances are, if you don't want to go to the event, they probably don't like you that much because you intuitively know, like if they liked you that much, you'd be like, you'd probably want to go because why? Because you'd get energy from the event. So maybe staying at home and reading, I don't know, one thing that's giving me a lot of energy right now, 2 books in particular. The Holy Bible, of course, that thing gets dipped into daily. This book right here. All I want to do is read this book, Dune. I just want to read fiction. Why? Because it gives me energy. And when it gives me energy, I feel great. And I haven't even told you why the energy thing is really, really important. Because if you've listened this long, you're open to it. You know now, okay, I want to feel good. I want to make money in a way that feels good and that actually gives me energy. It's not just about money. I know that having high energy is actually is like basically the same thing as having good health. Like when you're ill, you basically have no energy. When you're hungover, you have no energy. When you're sleep deprived, you have no energy. Have your energy up, boom, all of those problems are solved. Think about it. Like that it might sound a little bit too easy, but what if you could naturally get your energy levels up? Like all of those illnesses go away. All the symptoms of those illnesses go away. Reason one, this is Abby right now. Reason one, I don't feel a sloppy fucker anymore. I guess that's sloppy F anymore. I wake up and I have my mission in mind instantly. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. There we go. That's what I like to hear. That brings a little bit of a tear to my eye. To be honest with you. Like, this is what modern society is lacking. Don't you think? Particularly, and this is why I've said now, men is my primary. I'm primarily serving dudes. Because I see a big problem. There's not enough men waking up with a sense of mission every day. That will push you through anything. That makes you incredibly magnetic, incredibly charismatic. It is lacking more than anything else. There's no men, not enough men, waking up in the morning like, I know exactly what I need to do and I can't wait to do it. That would solve most of our problems. The problem is that the only people that really are doing that are highly ambitious people. So they're like rare. And you're going to be meeting some of them in this live stream. If you're in this live stream, you vibe with this message, then you're one of these people. Second is there's a lot of bad motherfuckers doing this, like not good people who are just driven by a sense of evil or sense of like they just want to get power, right? But that's because they've tapped into the source, which is they want the power. Well, why can't good people like you tap into that power source as well, which is that energy that comes from being on a mission, the energy that comes from being focused, that energy that comes from being 100% who you are, making money how you want to make money, living a healthy lifestyle, doing what the fuck you want, dating who the fuck you want, saying whatever you want. These are all energy giving things. Yet no one does it. And then I have to get on a fucking live stream to fucking tell you, to remind you. But we all win. We all win. So Abby's coming in. So we've got reason one, I don't feel like a sloppy fucker anymore. I wake up and I have my mission in mind instantly. My man. All right, we've just spoken about that. Reaction to, draining people leave automatically. It feels magical, like God just takes and removes them from my path. Dude, I want to frame that in my bedroom. Like, I want to frame that. Like, that is a banger. So I'm putting that up on the big screen. Reaction number 2 to focusing on energy cultivation. Draining people leave automatically. It feels magical, like God just takes and removes them from my path. Do you know why that is? And I realize this. It's because all of a sudden now, because you're focused on acquiring as much energy as possible and focusing on cultivating your energy, what happens is you now no longer have space for anyone else that isn't operating on that same level as you. Now, it doesn't mean, basically low frequency or low vibrational people, and this isn't saying like we're not judging them, like there's probably reasons why they're stuck in those positions, but you're elevating in your energy level, right? So now they're not even in your conscious awareness anymore, because you've only got awareness, enough awareness for people with high energy that bring you energy, because that's what happens in the end. It's like, can we feed off each other? Can we keep you have to find people on the same mission so you can feed each other, so you can give each other, like work together to keep elevating each other. All the low frequency people go away, and all of a sudden you literally wake up one day and you're like, there's maybe like less bodies around, but there's more fucking winners in my life. And that one conversation you have with someone who gives you energy gives you so much more value and so much more life than 10 conversations with 10 people that basically drain your energy or that don't serve you. So that's a dope one. I really like that one. I'm going to bring up a tweet. So this is like, it's getting to the point now, guys, where I'm sharing this message and it's really getting through. Like this post yesterday, the one, I can't bring it up on the screen, but it basically, yeah, I mean, it's not unusual. Like I used to go viral a lot more, and this isn't necessarily viral, but it kicked off, it resonated. Time isn't your most valuable asset. Your most valuable asset is your energy. Nothing comes close. I said that last year. Like this is an idea that I've basically pulled out of the archive and been like, I think this aligns with my current state of mind. And yeah, like 20 retweets, 140 likes, 68 messages, 68 replies. People know this is just true. And then I saw my boy Atlas came through. He said, where is it? I used to dismiss the idea of energy as soft and unmeasurable. Too woo-woo for me. Then I saw the pattern. The energy you project filters who enters your orbit. The energy you attract the people you attract set the ceiling on your income. So that's a big one right there. He's basically just built on top of that idea. And I love that from him. It's a banger. I used to dismiss the idea of energy as soft and unmeasurable. Too woo-woo for me. Then I saw the pattern. The energy you project filters who enters your orbit. The people you attract set the ceiling on your income. So there you go. That's another reason why energy needs to be numero uno. Numero uno. So I'm actually going to stash that tweet away from him. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. Others, I'm going to put them under his own file. Atlas. Boom. See, I've shouted out 2 other people today. Shouted out Danko, and I've shouted out Atlas. All right. Back to the stream. Back to the stream for the last few minutes. So you might have seen my email today. Yeah, Substack was great, but it was taking my energy, so I had to move back to daily, because daily just gives me a lot more energy. Back to the old, like it's literally like just a guiding principle now. It's like, what's your life philosophy? Maximize your energy, and then everything will follow in place. All right, 3rd reason from Abby. Number 3 is a bit of a weird one, but the right people come to me automatically. Yeah. Because people want to be around the radiator, bro. This was something I figured out a few years ago. there's some people are just radiators, and like everyone wants to stand next to the radiator when it's cold. Everyone wants to stand next to the radiator. Everyone wants to stand next to the fire when it's cold outside. They want to put their hands by the fire. They want to warm themselves up. What is fire? Fire is energy. You probably all know that, but this isn't a year 5 physics class. But fire is energy, raw energy. So people want to stand next to it when it's cold outside. And the world is pretty cold. So they find someone like you that has this huge energy coming out of you. And now all of a sudden people want to stand next to it. People want to be around it. And as I spoke about on stream a few days ago, if you're doing some of the practices I've mentioned, it's not just any, like women sense that immediately, I've found. Men don't sense it so intuitively, but women are really, really attuned to it. They will act differently to certain men. And it's usually the ones that like have this groundedness about them. They don't necessarily have to be boring and, it's not grounded in the sense of like a monk, but they have this like energy is low in their body. It's like in their balls, right? And that holds them to the ground. And then they're drawing up energy from the ground now. That's like what being grounded is. Like you're like a tree locks its roots into the ground and becomes stable. When you're grounded, you then connect with the earth in a way, and you draw up energy through the earth because your energy is grounded. So you become more attractive. Dun, dun, dun. Abby goes on, like today, an old school friend who is crushing it online right now sent me a DM to connect. Dude, this shit it gets wild. It actually gets wild. Wait till you start combining this shit with your faith. That's when things really start going. That's when your whole world starts, like, it becomes like, I can't even describe it, like a trip. It becomes like an acid trip. It becomes like a mushrooms trip. Because all of a sudden now reality starts bending. Like, in Dragon Ball Z where it's called like, I think it's called Kai is the name of the power source. And if they get enough of this power, right, eventually they can like manipulate time and space. And they can manipulate the energy field and like throw energy at each other. Like if you pretend you have something here and you do that and you pretend you've got a ball in your hand and you sort of like imagine it's got tension on it and that you're trying to squish it, but it's indestructible. Eventually when you release, you'll be like, whoa, hang on. Like you can feel all this like energy in your field. So that is, in my world, I like to believe that stuff is kind of true. Like it's not just a fictional cartoon. Like you have this power that you can use to manipulate reality. And I think that's what becoming powerful means, is reality starts bending to your will. You start being able to control things that other people would say that's impossible. And it doesn't have to be like you've got this energy source in your hand like Dragon Ball Z, you've got these power balls and like it's more like being able to create outcomes, get people to come to you, attracting great opportunities, designing your life the way you want it to go and actually making it happen. Like all of these things, like you start happening to the world rather than letting the world happen to you. And I think that's a vital piece of the puzzle that a lot of men are just fucking, they're not aware of it. They're not aware of it. This is the sad thing. They're not aware of it. That's the truth. I sent you a DM yesterday, a ton of ideas. Add this one to the list. Yeah, I mean, look, that's one for another time, but this is one of my favorite books. And so is this. But on my Kindle, I have the Quran. And eventually I will check out the Bhagavad Gita. I think that's what it's called. But in the end, I think you need to ground everything in faith. And that's a topic for another time. But I think once you add this, like once you make, like I need to design a diagram. I need to start getting better at visuals. There's a diagram. There's a, this isn't the Illuminati, but this is a pyramid. And at the top of the pyramid, the most important thing is energy. So if you make energy your number one priority, you filter everything through one question: does this give me energy or not? Like, this right now gives me energy. That's why I do it. And that's why I'm going to be doing it every single day. I'm going to see how I feel tomorrow on Saturday and Sunday, because to be honest, 9 o'clock on a Saturday and Sunday, that's very fucking antisocial for me if I'm doing that. That's fucked up. So as much as I might enjoy it, I don't think I can do that. I think that's fucked. But I would do it because it gives me energy, right? But I have other things that give me energy too. But like Monday to Friday, I would do this happily because it gives me energy. So the question is always, for me, does this give me energy or does it not? So if any scenario presents itself, hey, you want to go to this party? Is that going to give me energy or not? If the answer is yes, fucking go. Easy decision. If the answer is no, don't just be polite. Your energy comes first. No. Sorry, I can't come. Why? I've just got some stuff I need to do. And the stuff is true. You've got some stuff that's going to give you more energy than doing that. Someone's like, hey, do you want to have a drink of wine? And you look and you're like, this is actually going to make me feel good. Tomorrow, I might be a little bit worse for wear, but right now, this is going to give me a bit more energy. And I'm willing to deal with the consequence tomorrow. I'll sleep. I'll make that energy back. So yeah, I will fucking do that. I will have that wine. Thank you very much. If someone says, hey, I've got a business opportunity for you, right? You're going to make projected this much money. We can make 100K by the end of the year. All you have to do is put down 10K today, and it's almost guaranteed. But you are going to have to work for it. But like, you got to, yeah, it's probably going to take about 10 to 20 hours a week. And you look at it and you go, is this really going to give me energy? Like, am I going to feel excited about this? Am I going to wake up excited? And if the answer is no, you're basically, and I wrote this in a newsletter the other day, real freedom is when you say no to money and yes to your purpose. Ironically, if your purpose is to rule a nation of people, then maybe freedom, you're probably saying no to freedom in the end, because you're going to, freedom, you give that up when you become the king of a country. But anyway, that's another thing. It's always that question. It's always the filter. When you even like writing a piece of content, or like you're creating content, or you're consuming content, you're like, if you have the mental acuity and the mindfulness enough to say, like, is this giving me energy or not? When I read this, do I feel excited? When I talk about this subject, do I get excited? Like, what's it been like? I'm going to go in a minute, by the way. I'm going to shut this down. I only want to do this for an hour. But this topic excites me so much that I will talk and talk and talk about it. And I don't need any caffeine. I don't need any nicotine like last week when I was just rinsing through it to talk about this stuff, because I feel passionately about it. So this gives me energy. What gives you energy? What are you doing right now that's draining your energy that is a tough thing to say no to? You might upset some people. You might be saying no to some money. But those are the decisions that really make the difference and move the needle. So that's it for today. That was a good session. I'm really enjoying these. I got this. We got this new light in our villa, so this is a good angle. Really, the topic today was all about. I was just trying to encourage you guys. I was trying to make you realize what your most valuable asset really is. It's not time. It's not money. It's energy. What gives you more energy? And the good thing about that is, like, money will come as a result of it. Opportunities will come as a result of it. Because money flows to people that have high energy because of the way they make decisions, the people they hang out with, people they attract, the clients they work with. It's everything. And then the decisions you make, and then in the end, if you're making energy your number one priority, you're going to end up being led to the source of all energy, which is a good cliffhanger to end this on. Source of all energy, it's all coming from somewhere. Where do you think the energy is coming from? Do you think you're producing it? I would say you're channeling it. You're channeling that energy. Where are you channeling that energy from? Have you ever thought about that? Where are you channeling that energy from? Somewhere else. Somewhere else. And we'll talk about that on Monday. And if I'm feeling fruity tomorrow, maybe we'll do it. But I think that's the topic on Monday. I think that's where we're going to take off on Monday. We've spoken about energy. We've spoken about how to cultivate it. We've even seen Abby, my man, absolutely crushing it. And Lee, I can see you, Lee, as well, chiming in here and agreeing. We all know that energy is the key. And when we ruthlessly make that our priority, where does that lead us? It leads us somewhere else. Who does that lead us to? That's too much. And are we going there, or are we channeling that? Are we starting to channel something else? That's my question to you. I'll leave it there. I will be in your emails this weekend. So if you want to hear from me this weekend with what ideas I'm chewing on, which will probably be discussed next week, you want to hear it first, I would drop onto my email list. I would hop in there right now. The link is in my bio. Right now, if you download that, it's my old lead magnet, which is a banger, to be honest with you. You will receive a walkthrough of the system I use to help people build their communities, to sign more clients without burning out. It may or may not be for you, but most importantly, that gives you access to my email list. So I would go and jump on that if you haven't already. I'll send you an email a day and you won't get annoyed. You will actually love it. If you liked this today anyway. So that's it. Go and join that email list. Go and make the hard decisions, the ruthless decisions. Does this give me energy or does it take it away? That is the number one question you should be asking yourself. That's the number one question that changed my life, and it can change yours too. So that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Keep an eye on those emails, protect your energy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.